Welcome back to Perfectly Normal. When you hear the name Donald Trump, you probably think of global politics, endless news cycles, and massive rallies. But long before he was a geopolitical figure, he was something much weirder. He was a chaotic, omnipresent pop culture entity who treated real life like a massive, poorly supervised sandbox game. Today, we are completely ignoring his presidency. We are not talking about policies, elections, or foreign affairs. Instead, we're looking at his bizarre side quests, because the true legacy of Donald Trump is a trail of extremely confusing business decisions, weird internet vendettas, and one absolute logistical disaster. Chapter 1: The Electronic Meat. Let's start with the most basic rule of business. You sell your product where people want to buy it. If you sell hardware, you open a hardware store. If you sell food, you open a grocery store. In 2007, Donald Trump launched Trump Steaks. He claimed they were the greatest steaks in the world, but he did not sell them in supermarkets. He did not sell them in high-end butcher shops. He exclusively sold them at the Sharper Image. If you don't remember the Sharper Image, it was a high-end retail store that sold massage chairs, expensive air purifiers, and novelty drones. Imagine walking into an electronics store to buy a motorized tie rack, and the cashier tries to upsell you a box of raw, frozen beef. It was a catastrophic failure. The steaks were discontinued after just 2 months, because surprisingly, people buying laser pointers do not want a side of raw meat. Chapter 2: Destroying an Entire Sports League. But selling meat in a gadget store is nothing compared to his strategy for American football. In the 1980s, there was a spring football league called the USFL. It was actually successful. People liked it. Then Donald Trump bought a team called the New Jersey Generals. He immediately decided that playing in the spring was for cowards. He forced the entire league to move their games to the autumn, directly competing with the massive, unstoppable monopoly of the NFL. His master plan? Sue the NFL for having a monopoly. The USFL actually went to court and miraculously won the lawsuit against the NFL. The jury agreed that the NFL was a monopoly, but they decided the damages the NFL caused were practically zero. So the jury awarded the USFL exactly $1. Under antitrust laws, that was tripled to $3, plus interest. The final check handed to the USFL was for $3.76. The league immediately went bankrupt and collapsed. He successfully defeated a massive monopoly, won a literal handful of pocket change, and destroyed the entire sport in the process. Chapter 3: The Twilight Diplomacy. Fast forward to 2012, Donald Trump is a billionaire real estate mogul. He is hosting a hit television show. He has unlimited resources. So what does he spend his time doing? He becomes deeply, aggressively invested in the relationship drama of the movie Twilight. When actress Kristen Stewart was caught cheating on actor Robert Pattinson, most adults ignored it. Donald Trump, however, launched a relentless Twitter campaign. Over the course of a month, he tweeted about the teenage vampire actors repeatedly. He offered Robert Pattinson serious, unsolicited life advice. He tweeted, "Robert Pattinson should not take Kristen Stewart back. She cheated on him like a dog and will do it again." He followed this up by offering Pattinson a VIP room at the Miss Universe pageant to help him get over the breakup. It was treated with the urgency of a national security crisis, a 70-year-old billionaire aggressively acting as a relationship counselor for a sparkly vampire. Speaking of movies, let's talk about Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. If you have watched it, you know Donald Trump makes a brief 5-second cameo to give Kevin McAllister directions in the Plaza Hotel. But he wasn't hired for this role. He extorted it. At the time, Trump owned the Plaza Hotel. Anytime a film crew wanted to shoot a scene in one of his buildings, they had to pay the normal fee. But Trump had a secret non-negotiable clause. If you wanted to film in his building, you had to write a speaking role for him into the script. He literally held the locations hostage until Hollywood directors agreed to put him on camera. The director of Home Alone 2 later admitted they just left the scene in the final cut because audiences laughed at how random it was. Chapter 5. 4 Seasons Total Landscaping. But nothing, absolutely nothing compares to the grand finale. November 2020. Trump's legal team is preparing for a massive, historic press conference in Philadelphia. On Twitter, Trump announces the event will be held at the Four Seasons. Naturally, the press assumes it is the Four Seasons Hotel, a 5-star luxury venue in the center of the city. But someone on his team made a catastrophic booking error, and instead of admitting the mistake, they committed to it with terrifying dedication. The world's media arrived not at a luxury hotel, but at Four Seasons Total Landscaping, a small, gritty gardening center in the industrial outskirts of Philadelphia. It was situated directly between a crematorium and an adult sex toy shop. Rudy Giuliani stood before a garage door plastered with Trump-Pence stickers, passionately arguing legal theory while standing next to a pile of literal fertilizer. It was a masterpiece of accidental comedy. No television writer could ever script something so perfectly absurd. So whether you're selling frozen beef in a massage chair store, winning $3 in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, or holding a global press conference next to a crematorium, reality will always be weirder than fiction. If you enjoyed this descent into absolute chaos, hit the subscribe button. And let me know in the comments, would you buy a raw steak from an electronics store? See you next time. Stay perfectly normal.